Hello again, this is Randy back in the shop. Today we're going to be putting this 4L80 pump back together. And I got the bushing that goes in the end of the pump here. I got that yesterday. Got that knocked in there. So let me swing over the bench here and we'll get this pump put together. First thing you want to do is take your trans gel. You want to lube this all up in here good, where the outer gear rides. Put a generous coating of lube on there. Lube your bushing. Put your outer gear in like so. Fits in here like that. Your inner pump gear, remember where the notch is. The notch is at the top of the gear. It has to be in the pump like this, facing down. In this case, it has 4 little marks on it on this side here. This side here faces up. Put some more lube on here. I even go and I'll put a few drops of oil in the pump gear like that there. Okay. This is orientated like this here. You know, it'll only fit together one way. Bring your halves up together. Starter here. On your pump body here, there's a hole, and you've got a little deflector that fits in here. Goes in here like so. It's like that. That's where that deflector goes. There's a hole right there. Let me get a wrench here and I'll get these snugged up. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. you have this band here. This will align your two halves of your pump. I gotta open this up more here. Okay, I got that band on there. I had to find a longer bolt here. So that aligns your pump halves, and you can snug them up. Snug up your bolts. And these bolts get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. Okay, all our bolts are torqued, and what you can do if you don't have one of these centering bands is you can go to like a truck shop and get some big hose clamps and put a couple big hose clamps around it, and that will allow you to center the two halves. Or what you can do, let me turn the camera around here a minute. What you can do too is you can take your pump and drop it in the case upside down and use the transmission case itself to center it. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to lube up our bushings. Lube this one up good. Lube the center of it here with a input shaft goes. Lube up this bushing here. And what I like to do is, at this stage, you can take your torque converter and you can drop it in here and gauge it with your pump. Make sure your pump turns. Because I had at one time, I put a transmission together for myself and slid the converter in. The converter went right in the first try. Put it in the car, and when I was trying to line up the converter to the flywheel bolts, I found out the converter wouldn't turn because the pump was locked. But I didn't have a 4L80E converter here, so I made this tool here to simulate the nose of the converter. Just set this on here like this here, and that will engage your pump gears so you make sure that it turns. It's like that there. Okay, that's all good. Now, before I put the sealing rings on, we're gonna do our final assembly on the case, and we're gonna check our input play on the input shaft. One thing you got to do too before your final assembly is you need to install your output shaft seal. That goes in the very back of the case before you put the extension housing on. And put a little bit of assembly lube on that and you'll be good to go. Right here. Alright, got you looking down the case here. This is your rear roller bearing that you install black side down to the case, like I explained before. And this is your rear band here, and you install this down in the case. They're kind of tricky to get in sometimes, so it takes a little bit of finagling around to get them to go in. Let me get a long screwdriver. All right, let's see here if we get this popped down in there. got 2 pins that this band needs to rest down on. All right, you come in through your ply pin hole here and just push it into place, just like that, and your band is in. Okay, you got this center support lower ring that goes in down here. Like that there. Leave the opening for it at about the 9 o'clock position. Then we take our output shaft, put some more lube on the shaft where the shaft goes through the bearing. And lube up your lower planet thrust washer. And then this just drops down in like this here. Yeah. Okay. Kind of slippery to hang on to here. And just drop down in there like that. And you have your intermediate shaft, and you got the little hole right here that you have to line up with your gear. Should be able to see light through there like that. This just drops down in here like so. Try to keep it all together, and I dropped it. Put this back together again here. Get our hole lined up. Remember, the bevel face goes down. Do it again. Here, try this one more time here. Okay. That drops down in there like that. Okay. Have your center support lower thrust bearing that goes on there like that. Now it's time for your center support lower race is right here. You got the bushing at the very bottom there. You got to make sure you put that in. Here's your feed hole. And what I like to do is put a black Sharpie marker on there. Black Sharpie mark right there. That will help you align this at the 6 o'clock position in the case. Drop it in like that there. Grab the output shaft, give it a spin, and it should drop right in. It's not going to now. Oh, I think I got too much pressure on the back of the case. Okay, got this down in there now. Now we can put our center support snap ring in. That goes in the case with the bevel facing up. And you want your gap at about the 9 o'clock position. Got your intermediate wave plate with the, got to install that with the tangs down. That goes there. Get your intermediate steel, that goes in first. And you got your frictions. I had these soaking in transmission fluid. You got one steel, one friction. Your second steel, second friction, third steel, third friction, fourth steel, fourth friction, and then your pressure plate goes in. It'll only fit your case one way, just like that there. And this is your stock intermediate pressure plate retaining ring. I always replace that for the heavy duty retaining ring. That goes in the case like that. The opening at about 9 o'clock. Make sure it snaps in place good. Got our end play at about 45 thousandths. And now we need to install the direct clutch. Be right back. Now this can be a little bit tricky to get this direct clutch in. Try to line up your clutch plates as best you can, like that. with a little screwdriver. Like that there. Get some more lube here on them ceiling rings so those stay in place. And take your direct clutch, drop it down in there, just like that. And what you do to check to make sure it's down all the way is the center hole for your center support is your direct clutch piston. That piston should activate and this drum not move. If you don't have it seated all the way, the drum will jump up slightly. Then you have to keep playing with it to get it, make sure that it's fully seated. Okay, we got one direct steel here to go in. I got the clutch plates soaking over here. Let me grab those a second. We added another friction to the direct by using intermediate steels because they're 10,000 stick or forward steels. So you got one pressure plate and one steel, two pressure plates, two frictions, three steels. This is your third friction, your fourth steel, fourth friction, your fifth steel, fifth friction, your sixth steel, and your sixth. Okay, I got my sixth friction in. This is your pressure plate for your direct drum and your snap ring. Kind of awkward here with the camera in the way. I'll get this put in there. That just pops down in there like that. Make sure it snaps in all the way good. Just like that. Okay. Next is going to be the forward clutch and the inner clutch hub. There again, the inner clutch hub is a little bit tricky to get in because you have to align these clutch plates as best you can. With your pocket screwdriver. It's like that there. Okay. I had to pull the direct drum out because I forgot about the case saver. The case saver goes in here like this here, and it prevents this snap ring from bending up, because a lot of times you'll break these ears off. So I gotta get that put in. Let's see here. There's a shouldered bolt like this here that goes in through your engine braking apply hole, because we're not going to be using that engine braking The reason we're not using it is the valve body doesn't have any provisions for engine braking. There you go. Tap that down so it's straight. It's like that there. Okay. I gotta put the direct piston back in now, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I got this down in there, and I'll show you here. There's a quick, easy way to check, make sure that it's in all the way. When you activate your direct clutch, like that there, this piston does not move. If you don't have it in all the clutch plates all the way, this piston will jump up and down. So we're good. Be right back. All right, I got our input shaft in with our 4th gear planetary and overrun clutch. Now we're going to put the 4th gear clutch housing in. But to put the housing in, they have to take the clutch plates back out of it and then put the clutch plates back in after the housing is installed. Okay, 4th gear clutch housing is in. We got one steel plate in. We got one friction here. Goes in like that. And your plate with the little V in it here needs to go right by your pressure plate perk pin. Otherwise the plate won't fit. Right like that. Like that. And your pressure plate goes on top, like so. And you've got a snap ring that holds it all together. Just like that. But I got the pressure plate on backwards. Hang on. I think I do. Sure looks like I do. No. I had to move the gap for the snap ring. Like that there. Okay. Now we got to check our end play between our pump and the forward part of the gear train. Be right back. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to install the pump with the new gasket. It's marked up. That goes at the top of the case. Make sure all your holes are lined up. I got a couple of pins here to help align the pump. We're going to set the pump in without the O-ring on it and bolt it down. Now we're going to check our end play in the front. There we go. Make sure you get all your bolts started by hand first. That way you don't strip out the case. Looks like it's down all the way. Let's see here. Yep, down all the way. Okay. Get these bolts snugged up here and torque these to 18 foot-pounds. Gotta move the camera a little bit. Tighten your bolts in a crisscross pattern. Just like that there. Okay. I'm going to get an indicator set up on here. I'll be right back. Okay, I got you set up here so you can see the indicator. This first initial little bit of movement, that's just play in the input shaft where it goes through the primary, because it's got a snap ring on the end. So once you relieve that play, what the rest of it that you'll see is the actual end play of the front gear set. And we got about 39 thousandths. And I'd like to see that at about 10. So I have to pull the pump back out. I measured the thrust washer that came on it from the factory. That's what I put in it. That was a 90 thousandths thick thrust washer. And they give you some selective sizes on it that are different size. And the thickest one is 114 and a half, I believe. Yep. Okay. Okay. I changed the shim on that, and I got our end play taken out of our input shaft, our free play, and now we'll check it again and see what we got. Zero this here. Got about 6 thousandths. That's our zero. Yep, that'll be good. So, because as the transmission heats up, your endplay is going to grow. So, anywhere between 4 and 10 for performance build while you're good. So. All right, well, that's going to be a wrap on this portion of the 4L80E build. I haven't done the final pump install yet because there's parts coming along with the manual shift valve body. So when those parts get here, I got to finish. I got to change the pressure regulator valve and the spring and the pump, which is not a big deal. And then I got to do the final install on the pump and put the low reverse accumulator on, the valve body, all that type of stuff. I have the new transmission pan here for it already. So that's going to be a wrap on this one. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.